Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the crazy, insane medieval dragon book that I made for a friend of mine. It's a junk journal, but I actually don't think it's a junk journal. I actually think I just made a book. That's what it is. I don't see how this is technically a junk journal. Anyway, I have a group of friends. Most of my friends that live locally are not crafty. I have a couple of crazy quilters that live within about a half an hour. But otherwise, most of my friends are not crafty. And I have this one group of friends that I've had for several decades that like to read. And we read together. And it's like a reading club, whatever. Anyway, so I did the Jane Austen book for one of my friends because that's kind of her thing. And then this is for another friend in that group who really loves fantasy novels and dragons and medieval stuff. So, without further ado, it measures, I think it's like 7 by 9, I think. And the paper that I used in this is from the Once Upon a Time scrapbooking pad from Joann, actually. And I think it's still available from Joann, although I did buy mine several years ago. I bought it for, to make, when I was scrapbooking, I bought it for my kids' scrapbooks. And then I quit scrapbooking before I got around to using it. So, there's the back of it. I just love this paper. And sorry about the sun, but there's just nothing I can do. So I put a little bit of lace at the bottom. And this doily came from Roseanne during one of our swaps. And then this is just something I made. The actual cover is made with a Cheerios box. So this is basically a Cheerios box, just without the bottom and the top. So on the side, I don't know if I can show you this or not, but okay, so I don't know what these are, but I had 2 of them, and I put them through the Cheerio box, and then I put a chain. Oh, you just can't see that, can you? I put a chain on there to kind of hold it together, and I thought that kind of looked kind of medieval, you know, with the chain and everything. This is kind of fancy because you have knights and princesses and ladies and stuff. And then, of course, I had to use the dragon claw with whatever that is that it has in its hand. I don't really know. Anyway, so then we shall open and go look. So, this and this is also part of that paper pack that I got from Joann, so Once Upon a Time. There are 2 file folders in here, 1 in each signature. There are 2 paper signatures, and then I did 1 fabric pocket insert in the middle. So, and even though, like I said, there's kind of something on every page, I tried to make plenty of little journaling spots. So, yeah. And then this is one of the pieces of paper. It says Far, Far Away. And the rest of the paper had a big castle on it. But I wanted to use this to make a little tuck. I did all this stamping and everything. And this is the file folder. But the rest of the paper was so pretty I didn't want to waste it, so I made a giant tag to go in there. See, it was kind of like that, I guess. I don't remember. But anyway. And I like the file, I'm going to have to, I can't reach that. I like using the file folders in here because it's nice, good storage, so, you know, she can put whatever she wants in it. And then over here, I think this is actually Harry Potter paper, I think. It says, "It is one thing to read about dragons and another to meet them." And then I had this, so part of what I did with this book was I went around and to like the kids book sections in some of the used bookstores and found some used books for sale that had dragon images in it and cut those out and put in here. And since I'm not selling this, this is a gift, I'm okay, right? No copyright infringement. Here's a little pocket with some paper in it, and all of the paper in here has been baked or hand dyed by me. Some of it got more baked than others. Yeah, and I really love that stamp. Most of the paper in here is scrapbook paper. Some of it is digi-kits from Artie Mays and Medieval Mirage, and there might be one other one. I can't remember what the other one was. But most of it is just like this. Is just like a piece of artwork that I cut out of an old book that I had. So, but any of this kind of thing, this is Medieval Mirage. Scrapbook paper. Pocket with some stuff in it. If you look on the pocket, it has dragons on it. How cute, right? So she has just loved dragons her whole life, and so I thought this was. There are a lot of other things she likes to bake and. Probably not paper, but she likes to bake and things like that. So I debated about doing kind of like a cookbook one. This is a fabric pocket I made, but in the end, I just thought this would be so much prettier. There's a paper clip. I'm using it as a paper clip. It's actually a bobby pin. You can see that. That's an arrow. How cool is that, right? I would have never thought I would have had a use for a bobby pin. That's an arrow, but there we go. I've got a couple of them in here. A little dragon image I put on this paper bag. Some of this is it's just beautiful. Just beautiful. And as I've said before, I had a ton of fun actually making the paper, etc. Okay. We'll get that later. Here's 2 envelopes with some tags in it. If she doesn't want to write on the tags, she reads enough, she can use it as bookmarks. So another dragon and another fair maiden. Dragons. And I really thought, I think this is actually Vectoria Designs, this one is. I really like this paper. I thought that was absolutely perfect to go in a medieval thing. And sorry if you hear the trash truck going by, he's kind of loud. And I even have the window shut. But once you get going, like for me, part of the fun of making these is hunting down the stuff to put in it. The ephemera, like where am I going to find this stuff? And I just think that's a ton of fun. And then how am I going to work it in, I'm not one for everything to match, There's another one of those arrows. Excuse me. I don't mind a theme, And I don't, color scheme's nice, but everything doesn't have to match, and that's part of the fun when you go to look for stuff, is that it doesn't matter if it doesn't match. And every medieval book has to have a map, right? More paper in there. Did some stamping. I'm the king of the world. This is an altered paper clip that I made. There's some paper in here. I have a set of feather stamps, and I really thought that the feather stamps I thought was just really cool for this book in particular because they wrote with quills, you know, so it's kind of neat. And I don't know if you can see this or not. In person it shows up really well, but that is, so this is a glassine bag, and I coffee stained it, and then I stamped it with this rubber stamp I have that is a medieval city. Isn't that cool? I was like, okay, that's perfect. Some stamping on that. Actually, I stamped the whole page. A couple of envelopes I made. There's nothing in them. Excuse me, my allergies are crazy. And this is a little tuck that I did. You can't really put anything in it, but I thought this little image of this medieval guy standing at somebody's grave, I thought that was pretty cool. And paper she can take out. Another dragon image. And then because that medieval stamp was so cool, I couldn't only use it once. So I used it again. Excuse me. I stamped the, I did the whole envelope. But I really like what this says here. It says, the beauty of the written word is that it can be held close to the heart and read over and over again. Which is really cool for junk journals, right? Because that is kind of what we do. And it's by Florence Littauer, Littauer. I'm sure she's probably not medieval, but I couldn't help it. I just had to use it. And that was one of the challenges of this book, is because I love to use old photographs, vintage photographs. I couldn't really do that because I tried to keep it within the time, you know, and there weren't photographs back then in the medieval ages. This, so we know that a lot of knights and stuff, they were also falconers, and they used big birds of prey. The sun is encroaching. Look at this. Anyway, off subject there. So I have a book of what, you know, wild birds, and there are no photographs in it. It's all this kind of artwork. It's almost kind of like a pen and ink, and like they did like almost like a watercolor wash over it. I just thought it was beautiful. And then I stamped behind it, and it kind of looks like the bird is in the cage. Isn't that cool? I thought it was cool. Anyway, and then this is scrapbook paper, and this is actually new scrapbook paper. I actually just bought this like last week. But roses, you know, seem to figure so prominently in like medieval things, you know, medieval artwork, and, you know, and so I just thought that would be cool. And this is part of that paper pack. Try to scoot this over a little bit. This is part of that paper pack that I got. Also, the Once Upon a Time. And the original is like a 12 by 12, and so all of this is just like a brick wall, and then you have your window on, you know, and it looks out the castle window to another castle. And this was on the page, but this was not. I stamped all of this. I couldn't believe I actually had a stamp that looked like it should go with it, right? However, since watching Game of Thrones, all I can think of when I see this is, you know, Brandon Stark being chucked out the window. My mind goes weird places. Anyway, I made this big tag. And then this paper. And yeah, I stamped all that. I baked all the papers. I might have already said that. You know, you run out of things to say on these videos. That's the end of the first signature. This is the fabric insert. These are, you know, pockets. She can put whatever she wants. So this is the beginning of the second signature. I really apologize for the sun that's coming in. It's not cooperating with me. Dragon and some laces. I mean, you can see what it is. I don't know why I'm telling you. Paper. I did all that with doilies. I really had fun with the doilies, and what I did was I baked some papers, and then I would put, after they dried, I would put doilies down, and then I would spray them with either tea or one of the ink sprays. And that's what this is. It's an ink spray. And it was just so much fun because you just never knew how it was going to turn out. This is just 3 pieces of paper that I made. There's some, I didn't use a doily on this one, I used lace trim on this one. And just tied it with some sari ribbon. This is the second file folder. I made this little pocket. So this piece of paper is actually from this. Like, this is where I cut the circle out. So I used it on here. There's nothing in the file folder. I figure she can do whatever she wants. And then this is a fabric pocket with an old embroidered tablecloth. And then this reminds me of Beauty and the Beast. I thought that was kind of cool. This piece of fabric here is an old dresser scarf that I literally have had on my dresser probably since I was 14. So it's almost 40 years old. And who knows how old it was before that. And it started really getting thin and getting some holes in it, so I cut out the best part of it and put it in here. Because that's what we do, right? This is Medieval Mirage. Bag. And I really like these medieval images. That looks like that might actually be one of the Crusades, from an image from the Crusades. Some paper and a little tag thing. I love this stamp. And this was a greeting card I had. I'm pretty sure this is Michelangelo. Oh, it might be Da Vinci. Shoot, I can't remember. Anyway, which I guess technically is Renaissance and not medieval, but I'm going with it anyway. On the inside, just did some stamping. And then another dragon image I found. And I really liked this paper. I thought this paper was beautiful. And I don't know if that came in that paper pack or if I bought that separate. Dragon eye. Just some more paper. A tuck spot. I think this is also Medieval Mirage. Here's another envelope, and this bird image came from Somerset Studio, the freebie in the middle. You know how you get the free paper in the middle? That was one of theirs. And then just did some stamping here. Some washi. This envelope, I loved the way that turned out with the doily and the spray ink. And I made this little tiny book to go in there. And when you do the doilies and the laces, you know, when you spray them with the spray ink and stuff to get this image onto your paper, I mean, you basically have to be willing to sacrifice that piece of lace or doily, because after a while, depending on how many different colors you use, it just kind of starts to look like the doily starts to look like a gray blob. I'll just put that back later. And so I actually just have a couple set aside. That's all I use it for. I think this one flips up, yeah. I'm having trouble seeing around because I'm looking through the camera, so. And this is a another medieval image that I decoupaged onto a glassine bag, and I really had to do that with her because otherwise the image was kind of useless, because this was one of the pieces of paper that I learned a valuable lesson. So paper doesn't burn until Fahrenheit 451, right? Okay, well, if you actually touch the side of the stove with the paper, it will burn. So no matter what your temperature is. So there you go. Anyway, she got a little too done, and so I thought, well, I'll just use her like this because I didn't want to waste it. Image from a history book. And here's some more of that beautiful paper. I just love it. I don't know, I think it might be from that Once Upon a Time paper pack. I can't remember. Anyway, that's a medieval Mirage image there that I put on it. And then on the inside, I just did some stamping and some spritzing with some ink. And here there's a little thing. So, you know, while she might not be able to journal on some of this really beautiful paper, I did try to put plenty of, you know, cards and extra paper and stuff like that she could journal on. So, this, I like that one. That's so cute. This is altered paperclip, and it holds this together because this folds out like that, which is kind of cool if you want to write something in there that you don't want everybody to just see off, you know, firsthand. Another glassine bag with some more paper. Oh, and I made this envelope out of this dragon flying over the mountains paper, whatever you want to call it. That came out of a children's book, so it's not like you can buy that anywhere. And then this is the end of that. This is this other half of the second manila envelope that goes in there. It's just some fabric, this was part of a hanky, this is some trim. And then one of the pieces of paper in that pack says happily ever after, which of course you have to use if you're doing a medieval knights and dragons book, right? And then there's some more of the paper that I did with the doilies. And this is just a little flip out. I thought this was kind of cool. It looked like good versus evil dragon with a wizard in the middle. And then that's the end. So, while this is certainly not... okay, so after I finished the Jane Austen book, I swore I was not... this book was going to be smaller than the Jane Austen book. Technically, I think it does not have as many pages as the Jane Austen book. The Jane Austen book had 3 signatures, and I think they had 10 pieces of paper, so 20 pages each, something like that. This one is, I think there's 10 pages in one and 11 in the other, and then the fabric insert. So technically, I guess it's smaller, but it certainly doesn't appear smaller. So yeah. Anyway, so you guys, this is so addictive. It really is. I have a couple of other friends in that group that I'm also going to make books for. I'm doing One is going to be travel themed. One is going to be bird and wildlife themed. And then the two guys in the group, I think I'm just going to, I think I'm going to do steampunk for them. So, and theirs probably will be smaller because I don't think they actually journal. So, but, you know, I can't make something for some of them and not all of them, right? So anyway, I'm off to work, you guys, and I hope you all have a fabulous week, and hopefully everybody in the world will be kind to each other for a while. So anyway, have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.